All right. So my name is Kaman. I'm going to talk to you guys about Zero1.CS. It's one of the projects one of my company is doing right now. A little bit about myself. I'm undergrad for Bowie State in Maryland for psychology degree. Right now I'm pursuing my second degree in computer science at UWF. Company is to innovate, 4 years old company, founded in DC. And in my spare time, I'm also a teacher at Oneness Family High School. It's a Montessori high school in Bethesda, Maryland. And I've become an organizer here at 1 Million Cup as well. Among other things in here in Pensacola as well, I participate in other startups. So Zero1.CS is a project that I'm building. Is an immersive experience for kids with dyslexia. So to help kids to learn better and process information better. So first, anybody can try to read, attempt to read this. So that's the experience a kid with dyslexia have, mostly when they're trying to read. This is a little example of what they go through. And then most of the time, when somebody think about dyslexia, they think of seeing the word in reverse. When they see the letter B, they think it's D. And then when they see the letter So, they think they see the letter was. But that's not the case. That's not what dyslexia is. Dyslexia is caused by phonological problem processing. What it means is basically is that they can see the letter like everybody else see, but they just can manipulate those letters. For example, if I give you a whole letter like cat and say remove the word C, what's left you know is at. But the kid with dyslexia, they cannot process information. It's very hard for them to do that. And for example, if I give it a whole word like entrepreneur, they have to break it down in pieces, entrepreneur, to make sense of it. So that's a big problem at school right now. Kids with dyslexia spend more time decoding information. In result, it's making it hard for them to keep up with their peers and get sufficient comprehension in school. And in that process, it's really hard for them, and that's why they're always behind. But some fun fact is, a kid with dyslexia think at a higher level of the Bloom taxonomy, because a kid who have dyslexia think at a knowledge level, which is facts. But the kid with dyslexia think at a higher level of cognitive, which is analyzing, evaluating, and creating. And then the kid with dyslexia actually can understand the implementation of the problem because they break it down to pieces, find a way to learn their own way, and then apply the process. But the kid with dyslexia actually take the facts and learn the facts and apply the facts. And so before I talk about how the amazing brain of kids with dyslexia works, I'm talking about neurodiversity. Neurodiversity is the idea that because all brains show different structures and functions, and we should be careful labeling somebody with a deviation from a norm for pathological disorder, and also we shouldn't dismiss anybody who has neurobiological variations like dyslexia as a defense outcast. These are some of the people who have neurobiological variation like dyslexia, and then they end up doing pretty good with their lives. Einstein, Da Vinci, Walt Disney, and so on, and many more. I'm going to talk a little bit about how a person with dyslexia the brain function. So the brain got two hemispheres. There's a left side and there's a right side. The left side of the brain is in charge of language and general like reading, and then on the right side is most like spatial activities. A kid with dyslexia, based on the fMRI study, they suggest that the kid with dyslexia focus more on the right side of the brain and the frontal lobe. And so when they process information, it takes longer to go all around. You go to the right side of the brain first, go to the frontal lobe, and then get a little delay, and then come back to the left side of the brain. But the kid with dyslexia, actually, they can manipulate, they can change the way the brain works, actually, by with intensive multisensory intervention that break the language down and teach them how to decode based on syllable and spelling rules. And in that process, after a period of time, they get to learn faster, and then they train their brain, the left side of the brain, and then they get catch up with their peers and read more faster. And some of the research that the APA, American Psychiatric Association, doing right now, actually doing games to cure this, not cure disorder, but kind of like rehab, some kind of rehab process. And then they find out that the result treatment effect that formerly required years can take weeks with games, using games. And then I got a little video I played, some of the games they use on the research. This is fast forward. So this is one example that they use in the research to cure rehab dyslexia. And then so what I came up with is take a little step further by creating actually immersive environment where they can be within the virtual games and then actually introduce kinetic learning. Because not only sitting down and learning by clicking, but actually use movement to learn by moving the box left to right. Maybe like example, like a programming language, you can move a box left to right, have a clicker to count how many times you move, and put on within the for loop, it can do it for you time to time. So that's a different type of game we can utilize and in the virtual reality. So we designed different character for the virtual reality, which is Fix 34, Zero1, and then MA35. And then, so that gave it break down in 3 pieces: analysis, synthesis, and evaluations. So each pieces will teach kids those different model of learning. So this is the stage of our virtual reality game right now. I just started a couple months ago, so I'm still in the early stage. So we already got a character done. Right now we designed a scene for that virtual reality. And then, so right now we still looking for people interested to join a projects or for script writing or curriculum like teachers, psychologists, and researchers. And then the last page, stage 5, is development of the project. So that is Zero1.CS. That's what To Innovate is doing right now. And if anybody interested to join the project, you go to my website, toinnovate.com. There's a link in the form where you can sign up to join the project. So that's all I have for you today. Any questions? Hard part.
So is this product up and running already, you said, or no, it's in beta test? Or?
It's still on the early stage, so we're still on the design process and getting all the resources we need to build these projects.
Sorry, what was that?
We still get all the resources we need to build these projects. So we still doing researches and bring people on board who's interested. So far, we have designers and illustrators, and we did, yeah,
Coders?
we need coders and we need psychologists to do more research and make sure what appropriate games that can help them teach the kids.
Okay,
To-
that could be
Yeah,
research.
yeah. Yes.
This is obviously for younger kids, but I have a 20-year-old that's obviously dyslexic and struggle with that, but seems to have overcome a lot of it. Does this application still work when they work for older adults, or what happens in the life cycle of dyslexic?
Sometimes it can at early age it can be like at a lower level, and at a later age it can be more like it can show up, be more. It varies because the neurodiversity that I presented, which is each brain function differently, so everybody just got different way they react to it. For this project, we're not at the stage yet. We still got to do research and see if it's possible at a later age, but we're trying to use what the research did for the younger kids and adapt it to our games. So I don't have any answer for the kids. Yes.
What's the objective of this? Is it to make money eventually, or is it to make a difference, or both? Or which one's most important?
Make a difference. Well, this will be like open source, because build the software, have it, everybody, parents will keep dyslexia can utilize that's the software, and can be home download it to the VR and then just use it, or schools can utilize too. So make it free and open source, maybe a nonprofit.
I know there's a National Dyslexia Foundation and associations. Have you contacted any of them and seen if there's any people that are thinking about doing the same thing you're doing and maybe doing this?
Not yet, but I will do that.
Two questions. Are you looking for funding, or is the school part of this project?
This is from my company to innovate, so funding will be also.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, what is it?
This is from my company to innovate, so.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
not necessarily something that you partnered with the university.
No,
You
this is-
happen to work with the university, so you own everything.
I'm a student at the university, and then my company is to innovate, which is doing this project. Yeah.
So they're not funding the product?
No.
Project?
No.
There's a big difference. Okay, and so are you looking for capital?
That would be awesome. Can't say no. Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you. Okay. Yes.
To follow up on that answer,
Yes.
if you're looking for funding, what would the investors see in terms of their future? What would they see, or how would they see some value growth in their investment? Is there a business model hiding behind this? That's still the top.
Start at early stage, so I'm still, yeah, start at early stage. I haven't got that far yet. Yep.
I like your logo.
Thank you.
Watching your Zero1.CS for the last, what, 6 months?
Yes,
4 months?
indeed. Yes.
Didn't know, I didn't get it, now I get it. I like it.
Yeah.
So who is your team behind the other students? Or-
Yes. So far, I pitched with a student that was interested in joining on the project. So I got a graphic designer, actually, a university student who helped me design Zero1. And then I have also a couple of students who do 3D modeling. They help me build the scenery. So anybody who's interested to join the project can just sign up and then we can work on the project together.
Have you ever heard of Startup Weekend?
Startup Weekend by Google, I heard of it, yes.
This is a really good concept of taking one of the weekends.
Okay.
I'm not sure if UWF sponsors it or.
Danvers is next weekend.
Which one?
Danvers next weekend.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Startup Weekend, it's sponsored by Google. It's basically a Friday through Sunday workshop. Costs about $99 per person.
They have a student discount.
And they have student discounts.
Yeah.
But they have, the idea is that it's both a team building exercise and to teach startup, lessons about startup that you have to do. But the whole concept of the weekend is you create teams to put together certain kind of ideas like this,
Mhm.
and you flesh out basically a startup roadmap
Mhm.
to get to a minimal viable product and get it into the marketplace. And then you pitch that to a group of senior evaluators who, one that I attended had, a couple of, gosh, I really want would say, one fellow's retired, made a lot of money in the cell phone business, in designing and manufacturing cell phones, and he has his own, sort of like startup lab over in the city, the community college.
So may I make a quick announcement?
Yeah.
February 9th, in Pensacola, will be hosting a startup meeting.
Yeah. And then, so, yeah,
And Code Fest will be the first week in April.
Yep.
Which is, they might also look forward to you guys engaging with some of the programmers and so.
yes,
It's all meant to work together.
yes, yes.
What stack are you looking at?
Say it again.
What dev stack are you looking at?
Oh, Unity,
Okay, so Orlando,
Orlando's one.
that's where most of the towns in Florida.
Okay. Yes.
Does this, with this program, there, I don't know much about it, but I guess when they diagnose somebody with it,
Mhm.
I would assume that they catch it sooner, that they can get it, unless there's a minimum age group that they have to get the plan on.
That's still early stage, so we got to do more research and find a curriculum and find, so we should bring the curriculum on that. So we need, yes.
You know, I love social causes more than other people. Making money like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Work on that business plan.
All right.
That's not a question.
I can think of 2 or 3 revenue ones. Do very well.
Yep.
The question is what could focus.
Yeah.
That's one of the basic questions.
Because I think the next stage after the part is the AR portion of it, which is like just mobile, and you can just play around with the AR version of it. So,
Is there interest in creating, is there interest in what's the story behind that?
I love creating stuff, building stuff. This is one of my multiple companies. I like building and sometimes selling it. So just building stuff, it's fun.
Christian, do you have dyslexia, or is it
I think I don't know. For me, I have dyslexia. No, it's just I teach in camps, and I have some of my kids that I teach you like STEM where they have ADHD, and then I kind of see the difficulty they have. And sometimes I want something super hard, that's when they super focus, and sometimes it becomes super easy. They just they don't want to do it.
no, my husband has dyslexia.
All right.
All right, well, last question, Christian, is what the Pensacola community do for you?
Just have me find the time that I need to get this up and running. Mostly psychology. I'm speaking to some of the teachers at school right now, my computer science teachers, to see how they teach, the teaching process and everything else, and researchers. With the psychology background, I like doing research, collecting data, and then actually breaking down and make sense of it. So I can do a little bit of that part, but I need help, and also help having some kind of foundation for this thing. All right. Thank you.